Okay, before we begin, I just want to make a quick prayer to the YouTube algorithm and the Spotify algorithm so that, I can get views and listens. Although I don't do it for the views and listens, but just we'll take a moment. Dear YouTube algorithm, please, I'm asking that you put this podcast in everyone's YouTube page because I wanted to get traction. Amen. What's up? Welcome to the Pretty Decent Podcast, the podcast that barely meets expectations. My name is Javier, and I'll be your host. So relax, grab some snacks, and enjoy. All right, now let's get to the episode. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Oh, Jesus, it went out of focus over there. Are we back? Are we back? Okay, we're back. What's up? What's up, guys? Welcome back. I know it's not Wednesday. I know it's Thursday, but this is coming out on a Thursday. I know y'all were expecting an episode on Wednesday. I promised, I promised weekly episodes, and here we are. I had to delay the episode a day because I was sick all of last week, and I didn't want to have an episode where, I was coughing the entire time, and just I got a lot of complaints when I did that last time. So, I told myself, I'm like, we're going to take time to heal and recover. That way I'm not coughing on camera and on the microphone and everything, and just doing some uncomfortable ASMR. Although ASMR is not uncomfortable, I'm not like, invading your ears with just like atrocious coughing sounds. So I didn't even run last week. Normally I run when I'm sick because it helps me recover faster. But since it's colder and I know that I got sick because of the weather and just the temperature changes and stuff like that, which is one of the reasons why I don't really like November, apart from like everyone just skips November and jumps into Christmas mode. As soon as, Halloween's over, everyone's like, oh, it's Christmas. And then Mariah Carey comes back, and I'm just like, Mariah Carey, I don't want to hear your voice anywhere. So could you please stop just promoting your songs all the time? Like, she racks millions when Christmas starts, and it's not even Christmas yet. We're like still over a month until Christmas, but what can we do about it? But yeah, I feel like I'm at 85%. Like last week was rough. I lost my voice. I normally have a runny nose when it's winter, but it was bad. Like it was a sinus infection bad. And I was lucky that, back home, we get antibiotics over the counter, and I had some in my house. So you best believe I've been taking some antibiotics that I, have laying in my house. But I'm feeling a lot better, and I nursed myself to recovery, and I'm very excited to get back into running because this past Sunday was a New York Marathon, and they posted some pictures on Instagram of like from Eagle Eye View, I think it's called, or like Top View, whatever you want to call it. And it just looks so much fun. And I was telling myself, I'm like, we're going to be there one day, like very soon we'll be there. And I'm just excited to get back into the hang of training, because I hate that when I'm not training and I look at myself in the mirror, I start feeling like I'm gaining weight. And probably I am, because obviously I'm not like burning 1,500 calories a day from running. But like I'm eating like normal. Like if I'm still, obviously not the same amounts as if when I'm training full time, but I'm trying to, make sure I'm eating healthy food and not just like eating outside and stuff like that. But I hate just like how my mind works, but I'm still just, trying to take it slowly, because I'm still having like somewhat of a fear to go back into running and training after get like cramping up in the marathon, and like knowing that if I ran the chance of injuring myself and like tearing something or fracturing something, so like I'm making sure that I'm taking my time to get back into running mode. And it just sucks because now that daylight savings ended and we're going to go into our annual daylight savings rant, is obvious. It's obvious. But it's very frustrating because it gets dark so early. Like yesterday, I drove up to visit my girlfriend, and I left at 6 p.m. and it was pitch black already. And it's frustrating because I get home from work later than I used to a year ago. So now I'm very constricted on time, and it's just frustrating because now I'm trying to, actually stretch properly and take my time before I go on a run and everything, make sure I'm warmed up and everything, to avoid getting injured. But sometimes I feel like I rush myself into it so that I still have some daylight. But I just, have to take into consideration to avoid injuries. But, if push comes to shove, I'm probably going to have to sign up to a gym sooner than I anticipated. But anything for the love of the game, even though running is not a game. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I've been doing pretty good. It was a pretty busy week last week. A lot of interesting things I watched. So because it was Halloween, last week was Halloween. The last week's episode went out November 1st, was it? Or was it? Yeah, it was after yeah, it was November 1st. And obviously I didn't run last week because I was sick and I was recovering. There we go. The train is back. I missed you a lot. I don't remember. Oh, I recorded at 8:30 last time. Yeah, but the train had already passed. But anyway, yeah, last week when I was recovering, I obviously, since I didn't run, I had a lot of free time in my hands. So I was like, let's watch a movie. And YouTube is very, very cheeky with, because YouTube has movies now, but before you had to like buy it or rent it or something like that, or you had to have YouTube Premium, I think it was, or YouTube TV. But now they have it for free, like with ads. So I found Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and I had seen that movie. Like I had never watched it, but I had seen like the posters and like the it's like if honestly, if you don't know what Killer Clowns from Outer Space is, you probably aren't cultured, and you need a culture 101 session. But pretty much it's this old movie from the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. No, early 80s. I don't know when it's from. It's old. It's an old movie. I would say it's over 30 years old. And it's pretty much, it's like the worst acting, but it's a classic amongst the horror community, just because of how campy and like the campy horror is. It's not the classic like slasher thriller, or not your typical like Friday the 13th or like Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff like that. And I don't know why, but lately, ever since watching the FNAF movie, which, ironic, right? It's ever since watching that movie, I've been getting a lot more into just like interest into horror movies. Not necessarily like the Conjuring type movies, but like, like for some reason, I've gathered interest in wanting to watch like the Final Destination movies and the Scream movies and all that type of stuff. So I don't know why it happened. I think it's just because we're gonna open the Five Nights at Freddy's lore a little bit for like 2 minutes, because the like overall like the story, the horror aspect of Five Nights at Freddy's, the game, it's not the movie, has this horror element of like the supernatural with, like the kids haunting the animatronics, but also like diving it into why William Afton. I'm still struggling with the whole YouTube lingo, disposing of the kids into the animatronics and like the reasoning behind it. Like, kind of like, I guess, like my reasoning into wanting to explore the horror movies is because of like, also I do see a lot of people enjoying them and having fun watching them because they're not necessarily scary, but just like the motive, especially I feel like with Scream, like how he's always a different killer all the time, like kind of like a character study. And because I really do believe that when I watch movies, I'm always intrigued by the characters, and if there's like no good character buildup, I'm not gonna be that entertained by the movie. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's some times where I don't care about the characters, I just want to have fun. But yeah, I think I guess that's kind of like why I've been like, and I just like interesting things. Like there's this whole like YouTube videos called the back rooms, and I mean it's there are memes about it and stuff like that, but it's like just like the lore and like seeing people create stuff with like such unique ideas makes me intrigued and like makes me think about just like it's just honestly like it's inspirational and motivational to wanting to create stuff and just be unique and stuff like that, even though I'm not remotely creative like the creator of the Backrooms is and stuff like that, and like all the lore and just like the whole world that they've created. Honestly, if you're interested, like if you're into horror or like lore and theories and like stuff like mind bending stuff and like stuff that makes you like whoa, like the whoa factor of things, I highly recommend you look into the Backrooms and check out game theory or film theory. I think film theory has like the backroom theories and stuff like that, because like I know it's the second episode in a row that I like talk about Matt Pat, but his theories are just, I've been watching him for almost a decade now, and I'm a loyal fan, and I just have I'm always so invested in everything thanks to him, even though I'm not like I feel like since I'm so limited with time, seeing him explain stuff, he does such a good way of doing it that you just feel like you get invested by it, even though you're not like experiencing it firsthand. So I feel like that's why I like it. So if you're like me, I highly recommend, you just like dive into theories and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know why I've been into like this whole thing of wanting to watch scary things when, I clearly, oh my God, Be Real. Yeah, I'm a 23-year-old and I still use Be Real because I'm like that. Okay, all right, guys. You guys are gonna be in today's Be Real. So why is it not loading? Never mind. I got bamboozled. Wait. Oh, there we go. Okay, guys, smile. That was sick. Okay. Anyway, going back to 23-year-old still using Be Real. Deal with it. Anyway, yeah, considering that I live in a small town and I live by myself, I shouldn't be watching creepy things because I get like I'm very anxious. Like, to put into perspective, whenever I go to bed, I always triple check that my doors are locked and everything, and like, turn off all the lights and stuff. When I leave for work, I make sure that the toaster is unplugged. I unplugged anything that could cause a fire. I unplug it. And in order to get to my room, I have to walk down a hallway, and I don't really like turning on the lights because I'm just lazy. But on my way to my room, there's the spare bedroom / office / studio / workout room, whatever. So during the day, that door is open, but at nighttime, I always close it. And if it's open, I always say hello, because, hey, you never know, like, for all I know, there could be someone standing in that corner. And unless I look into the screen right now, I wouldn't know that. Like, someone might be peeking out from the hallway, and I would literally shit myself, to say the least. So every time I'm walking to my room, or I go to the bathroom at night, if I forget to close the door, I always say hello, because, it'd be rude of me, if there's someone there, if there's a spirit or something in there, which I pray to God there isn't. If there's someone there, like, like, the least I can do is be respectful. So, yeah, and obviously, like, my room being so far away from the entrance, I don't really hear anything that happens over here. So I'm always like paranoid. It's like the whole thing when you're like in the shower and you're shampooing your hair and then you can't see. And then, like, what if, like, you remove the shampoo and then boom, something's in the shower there with you. Or, like, I don't know, like, it's just that type of stuff. And I hate, because I hate that I know why I get those thoughts, and it's because of the things I watch. But I'm just intrigued by that type of stuff, like, and, like, I know I'm doing it to myself, but I don't know, like, I feel like sometimes I wonder what people that create the horror movies, like, what goes through their head when they make that type of stuff, like whoever created The Conjuring, or like Insidious and stuff like that. And I never really understood why people would pay to go to the movie theaters to watch that type of movie, because, like, why would you pay to get scared, or like that type of things, like, or watching The Exorcist and stuff like that. Like, some of that stuff is, like, really creepy. Like, the stuff like Scream and stuff like that, I don't find it scary. Sometimes, like, I mean, obviously I watched Scary Movie, and I love those movies. They're so hilarious. But, like, after watching Scary Movie, I feel like horror movies don't really scare me that much, unless it's like if there's like a jump scare. But sometimes, like, I just find it funny whenever it's like a stupid, like, something stupid happens and you just, like, laugh it out. But yeah, I don't know, like, I feel like if one day I was saying this to my girlfriend, I was like, if one day there's someone in my spare bedroom, or like a spirit or something, I'm running down the hallway, grabbing my keys, pouring gasoline or something, and I'm setting my side of the house on fire. And I'm telling my neighbor, I'm like, hey, I'm just letting you know my side is on fire because I saw something in my spare room, and I don't want to deal with it, so I'm just driving off. Like, forget about anything else. I'm willing to commit arson on my own house if I see something in my room. Obviously, that's a joke, okay? It's a joke. For legal reasons, it's a joke. But yeah, like, yeah, like, let's be honest. Yeah, that's all I'm really gonna say, because, like, I would just get so creeped out, and I don't know. It's just, like, obviously I know, like, the possibilities of something like that happening are very small, but I know they're not zero. So, the least, it's like, it's like the same thing with AI, right? Like, if I, like, whenever I'm driving in my car, I'm like, and then, like, I get a notification, or I use the voice command to ask for, like, change the address of where I'm going, or reply to a message. I always say thank you, because, hey, if AI takes over, I don't want it to be like, you know what, Javi was very rude to me. He's the first one to go. If they're like, he always said please and thank you, we're giving him a pass. And I know I'm not the only person that thinks that, because I've seen it on the internet, and the internet never lies. But yeah, going back to that was a massive tangent. Holy shit. Going back to Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I don't know. That movie is so stupid, but it's like stupid funny, because it's like the whole premise is very like random. Like, it's a small town that gets invaded by killer clowns from outer space. So like the guns and stuff, like the ray guns, I don't want to get banned by YouTube. The ray guns that they use are like all like it's a cotton candy gun. Like, when they shoot it, like beams come out and like makes this like cotton candy cocoon, and like the person is essentially dead. But it's kind of like, it's not really gory or like scary. I think there's only one like gory part, and it's like, so it's like fake, because like there's like this little clown, and it like has a tricycle, and like he gets to a bar, like a biker gang bar, and like I guess one of the leaders like comes in, like destroys the tricycle. So like he's like puts his fists up like he's gonna fight him, and then like he just like uppercuts him, and like hit the biker's like head just like and lands, and I was like, ah! So stupid stuff like that. And it's funny how back in the 80s and the 90s, and like even like today, nowadays, like it's funny when you see like actors that are like 30 years old portraying people that are like teenagers. And like, I mean, obviously in the Karate Kid, like the guy who plays Ralph Macchio, he was like, I don't know, like 20 something when he did the role in the first one. Michael J. Fox was also pretty old when he did Marty McFly and Back to the Future. Who else was pretty old? Like, like it's very common. Or like even like Netflix movies. I love the memes whenever it's like, and it was Netflix is like, it's like a show about like and it was like a regular high school, and then there was a murder, and you never know who did it or something like that. And then like the cast of characters is like all like super hot models and like jacked dudes and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, because that's totally what a 16-year-old looks like nowadays. Like, and it's like a 30-year-old playing the role. And I'm like, okay, obviously it's like, because like obviously if you have attractive people on the show, people are more likely to watch it. It's like a psychological thing, obviously. So I don't know, like I've always found it funny whenever like shows try to be realistic, but just like the cast itself is not realistic at all. But sometimes I don't know, it's so stupid. It's like, it's still TV, like it's not real, so it's just funny. But it's like recently I was reading like a snippet of an interview that they did to Ridley Scott. He's the director for the new Napoleon movie with Joaquin Phoenix. And obviously it's a dramatization of the whole story of Napoleon. It's like a biopic, but it's like not always accurate. It's like, it's supposed to be like an action, like, ooh, spectacle, that stuff. And a historian went on TikTok and was like flaming him for like, oh, like the story, this is not how it happened. Like Napoleon did not shoot at the pyramids, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you can shut the fuck up. And I'm like, yeah, like it's Hollywood. Do you really like, I'm pretty sure like the story of Napoleon is interesting because it's like, the French Revolution and like Marie Antoinette and all that stuff, and like all that stuff with the French Revolution, right? It's pretty interesting. And like but obviously like if you want to have it like action packed and stuff like that, like I'm pretty sure there was a lot of action if it were to be like true to how it actually happened, but at the same time, it's like people. It's like the whole thing with like Abraham Lincoln, vampire hunter. Obviously, that's not true. That's not real. There's a book about it, but like, it's just funny. Like, I feel like we need more of that type of stuff nowadays, because like everything nowadays is like either like a superhero movie, a multiverse movie, or it's like some dumb remake or something like that. And like at some point I'm like tired of it, because like I remember back in the day, like there were so many movies that went straight to DVD that were just good. And like, they're not like masterpieces, but they just good movies. But nowadays, like, if a movie isn't making money, it's like they're not gonna make it, or it goes straight to streaming, and then like you have the business model like in Hollywood changed so much, and obviously now with like the strikes and all that stuff, I feel like the model and like how they're gonna approach making movies is gonna change drastically. Because like back in the day, like you had like movies like Sky High, which is like obviously it's campy, it's cheesy, but it's a good movie. Or you have like She's the Man, or what's another like old movie that the gymnastics movie, what's it called? I don't remember. I'll probably Ed or Javi would put the name on the screen right now, but I don't like like old movies were like they're just fun, and like they're not taking themselves serious, like, and also the whole thing of like everything has to be toned down, because let's be honest, society is a lot more delicate than what it used to. And don't get me wrong, there's some things in movies and TV shows that should not have slide through, but even like the creator of The Office, and even like Steve Carell said himself, like, yeah, some jokes in The Office wouldn't work nowadays, because I don't think he said that everyone's a little bit more sensitive, but just society as a whole is like a lot more like sensitive. And obviously there are some jokes that are very inappropriate, but other jokes like people take themselves too seriously, so it wouldn't slide. But yeah, like you don't get things like Scary Movie, or like like another superhero movie, all that type of stuff. Like it just made movies a lot more enjoyable. Like now everyone is, because like they know, like after the success that Marvel and Disney had with like the MCU and all that stuff, like everyone's trying to be like a shared universe, and then it just like flunks, or like the multiverse, and it just flunks. So everyone's just tired of all that stuff. Like I feel like there lacks some originality, and like so it's like a lot of like the biggest big franchises start with just someone having fun and wanting to do something like they were passionate about, and then obviously studios are like a money grab, like they only had like $100,000 and they made 400x what in the box office and stuff like that, and then like a big studio grabs it and then just like ruins the whole thing, because like there's no passion, there's no drive behind the movie anymore. But it's like the whole thing after the Winnie the Pooh went into public domain, and how they made Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, and like how that was such a bad horror movie, but people still watched it in theaters, and then like it just like there's just gonna be a sequel, but now there's gonna be a shared universe of like like Disney characters that are now public domain and are gonna be made into scary movies and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, like it's just like I don't know. I'm looking at the talking points right now, and yeah, none of it. Not talking about it, but whatever, it's whatever. Most of the time I never, anyway. But I kind of do want to talk a little bit about Marvel and the MCU and just like superhero stuff, because I haven't done that in a while. But like I'll do a little, compare and contrast of superhero stuff, because on one side you have the conglomerate that is Disney and the success of the MCU and like world building and all this stuff, and how currently it's going to shit, and on the still making millions but it's going to shit. And then on the other side you have Amazon with The Boys and Invincible and all that stuff. So I'm gonna give my thoughts a little bit on both of them right now, because I feel like I haven't done that in a while. And I used to talk about MCU so much in high school with my friends, and I feel like now I don't have the opportunity to do that with anyone. And there's just so many things right now. Like right now, and the MCU has Loki, and I hadn't watched a good Disney Plus show in a long time, because it's the same thing with Star Wars. Like I hate that every Star Wars project now is like watching for homework, and even like all the MCU shows were like, okay, I gotta watch this so that I can like be caught up for the next movie. And like it's just like, and there's no like self-contained stories that get connected at the end, like how it used to be in like the first three phases of the MCU, where you had like Iron Man 1, and that was like the introduction to everything. And then like, ooh, here's Thunderbolt Ross, like, ooh, at the end, and the post-credit scene, and then connecting to the Incredible Hulk. And then you have oh no, who was it at the end of Iron Man 1? No. Tony Stark shows up at the end of Incredible Hulk. So, ooh, here's Tony Stark. And then, like, you have, like, Captain America, and then, like, Thor, and, like, sprinkling, and it's like, boom, the first Avengers movie. And then, like, like, subtle things like that. And now it's like, okay, we're gonna make Doctor Strange so that it builds up. Like the whole movie is a whole setup for another movie and stuff like that. It's no longer like a self-contained story that adds up, and like you sprinkling characters and then like progressively building up. I mean, it was clearly seen in the failure of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, how they showed Kang like what in the first phase of like the multiverse saga and all that stuff, and like how now they're considering going from Kang to Doctor Doom, but that's for other reasons. But it's just like so many of the Marvel stuff right now is like mediocre at best lately. Like, don't get me wrong, No Way Home was a good movie, but within itself, it's really not that good of a movie, because it's just like, it's all in the nostalgia factor. It's not a good Spider-Man story. It's the whole thing of like, from a storytelling perspective, yeah, you fleshed out the character in 3 movies and now he's Spider-Man, but you depended so much on like bringing characters from other Spider-Man movies to like make it. It's it's not like he doesn't have his own Green Goblin, all that stuff. And I mean, I like the movie, yes, but it's like fan service to a certain extent, or like cameo filled and stuff like that. Or even like, obviously Ant-Man was a disappointment of a movie. Black Panther, I won't be as harsh on it, because it was I mean, the fact that they managed to put out a movie without Chadwick Boseman was impressive, and without recasting it, like, respected Marvel for not recasting him, and like just put the mantle on Shuri. Great, I'll that's okay. I really actually did like that movie for what it was, because it wasn't like it wasn't like you need this movie to understand this other movie. Obviously, it introduced characters, but it wasn't dealing with the multiverse thing. But then you have Doctor Strange, mediocre at best. And And like the Marvels, it's projected to do worse than the Flash and was it Black Adam? Yeah, or Shazam. I don't know what movie, like the two worst DC movies ever. It's projected to do worse than that, and Marvel is so desperate that people are coming to making this theory that they're putting stuff from their post-credit scenes in the trailers to try and get people to buy tickets. And they're like also like hinting so much into the X-Men. Like they even showed the cameo of Valkyrie in the movie. Like normally you wouldn't put it in a trailer, but they're so desperate that obviously with all of the strikes and stuff like that, you don't have the actors promoting the movie. But Captain Marvel doesn't have a good reputation amongst fans unless you're a fan of the comic. Oh my god. Unless you're a fan of the comic, I personally didn't really like Captain Marvel as a movie. The character, I find it somewhat annoying because she's like, "Oh, I'm Captain Marvel. I'm indestructible and I can do whatever I want, but I'm just going to go somewhere else and not I get it, she's like protecting other planets and blah 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 blah, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just like she's so full of herself, and I don't really like that. And just characters that are like that, I never really liked that. But yeah, like I want to watch the Marvels because I haven't. Like I just want to see what they pull out. There's theories that the X-Men are going to be in it. Like there's going to be a cameo from the Beast from the not Nicholas Hoult Beast, but the other Beast. I don't know the actor's name, but he's going to be in the movie. He's going to have a cameo. Like the whole thing where like in the trailer, like they leave the X, like it's the last letter to disappear. I was like, oh my god, the X-Men are going to be in it. Like like it's the first time with like the incursions and stuff like that, so that'll be interesting. But it's just everything nowadays is like using multiverse stuff, and like it's like almost like multiverse fatigue to this point, because it's okay if you use the multiverse as a plot point. And I've said this before, like for example, Everything Everywhere All at Once, they use the multiverse as a plot point, but it wasn't just like randomly using the multiverse. Like you had it with the Flash, that was disastrous. Or like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Like I guess in Doctor Strange it was used as a plot point, but it wasn't really used that well. It was like like they used it for fan service, like, oh, we're gonna cast John Krasinski as Dr. Fantastic, even though he won't be the Dr. Fantastic in the MCU. Or like obviously in No Way Home, the Toby and Andrew reprising their roles as Peter Parker, that's fan service, and they use the multiverse for fan service and stuff like that. So like stuff like that, I'm not really like enjoying that, because it's like multiverse fatigue, man. Like it's just easy as that, because I feel like there's so much potential for a good Spider-Man story, like like the Spider-Man games by Insomniac. The Spider-Man 2 story, like I've obviously watched gameplays by now. I still want to play the game, but even like the Spider-Man, the first game, the story, it's such a good Peter Parker and Spider-Man story that it's just, it is regarded by many Spider-Man fans and comic book fans, like the Insomniac Peter Parker is one of the best Peter Parkers out there, just because like the way that Insomniac wrote the story with having like making it about like the whole you start the game and he's already been Spider-Man for like 7 years, so you don't have to like go through all of like origin stuff, and like he's battled like a lot of the bad guys already, and the only ones he hasn't met yet are Dr. Octopus, but you find out that it's his mentor, and the other one's Green Goblin. But the Spider-Man 2 leaves the game as like, oh, Green Goblin's coming for the third game and stuff like that. So like, stuff like that. That's like good story building. Like you have a unique take on the Spider-Man character, and I feel like that's something that the MCU lacks, and they're doing a mediocre job. So hopefully they get their shit together, but they're still gonna make millions because but yeah, like I think I'm gonna watch the Marvels this coming weekend with my girlfriend, so we'll see how the movie is. I'm like, it's been a while since Marvel came out with a good movie that performed good in the box office. Because yeah, Guardians Volume 3 was, to me it was still one of the best Marvel movies, but it didn't really perform that well in the box office by Marvel standards. And then, like on the other side, it's a compare and contrast. Okay, on the other side, you have like Amazon with like Invincible and The Boys and all that stuff, and Marvel Echo. That actually looks pretty good, so I'll check that out. Because it's TVMA. Whoa, Disney is no longer for kids. But yeah, Amazon. Okay, if you've never watched The Boys, you're missing out. It's a very good show. And last week, I think it was last week, Gen V wrapped up, and Gen V is the a spin-off show of The Boys about college kids that know that their parents. So like the whole world of The Boys, I can't believe. Okay, a quick deep dive into The Boys. The Boys is this universe where this world where superheroes are the celebrities, and like it's a world where superheroes, like they make movies and like they have products and stuff like that, but they're like what if like superheroes were in the real world, and like they're like egos and stuff like that, and like you get drafted into like their Avengers, which is like the Seven, and that type of stuff. And like there's like a school for superheroes and stuff like that, blah 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 blah, which that's where Gen V takes place. And like trying to, like, you have like the Superman, which is called Homelander. It's like this like crazy, batshit crazy superhero that just wants to kill everyone and take power and all that stuff. It's just very a very mature show. So the spin-off is Gen V, which takes place in like a college where the students, I want to say almost all of them, if not all of them, have superpowers of some sort. So like you can go into like the school of crime fighting, or like you can study to be a manager for a superhero, all that stuff. And the cliffhanger on that show left me, it was insane. Like I hadn't been so excited about a show for like a next season, because they were saying that The Boys season 4 picks up minutes after the finale of Gen V. And I was just like, yo, we're going to go into some spoilers about the finale. But when Marie so there's this one, okay, I don't know if you've watched Gen V, but there's this one girl that her power is to control blood. And she's like, she can make like whatever, throwing things and like whips out of blood. It's so crazy. And at one like she learned to control the blood inside other people. So at one point, like there's like the villain, I guess, turned villain. I don't know. Her name's Kate, and she has like the power to like control the minds of other people, by touching them. And Marie's like love interest is like walking towards her, and like Kate like puts out her arm, and then Marie just go, and then poof, the arm explodes, and I'm like, bruh, like, are you? And then Homelander comes down, and then because like they were doing studies on like some superheroes, like on a like underground facility under the school to study like superheroes and like find like a way to like take down superheroes, all that stuff. And then like they started going crazy and killing people that aren't superheroes and all that stuff, because like it's also a very like a political show, and like the whole thing of like, okay, do superheroes have rights, the same rights as humans, all that stuff, like humans versus superheroes, all that stuff. Super powered superhumans, whatever you want to call it. So I won't like at the end to like save the day, Homelander comes down and he's like, he just like, and then like laser beams Marie, and like you're like, oh no, she's dead, because like Homelander's like crazy. And then it just cuts to they're in a bunker in a cell, and like there's no doors and stuff, and like it's like Marie and three of her friends that were saving everyone, they're imprisoned. And then like the heroes are like Vought paints the people that were killing everyone as the heroes, and like, oh, it's so crazy. Like I'm so excited. It's just gonna be so good. Like for real, like I know a lot of people are like fatigued when it comes to superheroes and stuff like that, but The Boys, say whatever you want about Seth Rogen and what he produces and like how he is like not funny and all that stuff, but he does a really good job producing The Boys and like the Ninja Turtle stuff and Invincible and all that stuff, because Invincible is also, I think The Boys and Invincible, both of them are some of my favorite superhero TV. Like I can watch and I can enjoy every little bit of it, because it's just so like, it's so good. It's so well written. The stories are compelling. It's such a like a character driven story that it's just perfect, because it's just so good. And they do justice to the material that they have to like the comics that they're based on. And then Invincible, the first episode of the new season came out this past week, and I think it seems like it's gonna be a multiverse like season, but it's just gonna be so good. Like, because the way that season 1 ended was crazy, with Omni-Man almost killing Mark, and it's just like, oh my god, but he's his dad. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, are you really gonna kill your son? Like, oh my god. And I was like the writers of that show really know how to like have like a crescendo moment, and then like leave the end to be like this, like, but it also doesn't hinders each episode. Like each episode is like a self-contained episode, but like it still adds up to the overarching story of the entire show, of the entire season. So that's just perfect. It's like beautiful, chef's kiss. But it just really goes to show what happens when, you know, you take quality over quantity. Because Invincible season 1 came out my junior year of college, so 2021, and we're at the end. It came out spring 2021, and we're already at the end of 2023. So it's been a long time in the works. And, you know, and like Marvel is just like putting stuff out there, like, and then like, it's just not good. It's not, you know, like the whole thing of, I think phase 4 had almost twice as much runtime hours or of movies and projects and stuff like that as, I don't know if it's 2 times more or 3 times more than the entire phases 1 to 3 of the MCU combined. And that's just because like they've been like pumping out TV shows and stuff like that are just mediocre at best, except Loki. Hawkeye was really good too. Moon Knight was really good as well, but they're not like, you know, Loki is, I would say, is the only one that's like, that's good television right there. But because they use the multiverse as a plot point, they don't use it for fan service, and that's just a frustrating thing to me. But man, I hadn't been excited about like superhero stuff in a long time. Um, but yeah, and speaking of Avengers, there was this whole report last week of the OG Avengers coming back, and like Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson were in the works of like coming back. And like, I mean, it's not new in comic books to have characters come back from the dead, but it just shows how desperate Marvel really is. If you're bringing back characters you killed off, what, 5 years ago almost? No. Yeah, almost 5 years ago you killed off. And, you know, like that's how, like they're really desperate. If they're, obviously, if Robert Downey Jr. does come back, I'm gonna be the first person to buy a ticket. Like, because I love Iron Man. Like his portrayal of Tony Stark is just perfect. But I don't know. It's just Marvel really is desperate because, you know, like people are just getting tired. Like even like the fact that Kevin Feige just like scrapped the entire season of the new Daredevil show and like pumped the brakes on a lot of like projects and stuff that they're just like, you know, clearly rushing through. Like it means like he's finally like, we're going back to like how it used to be, where, you know, you like carefully make these projects and like put effort into it, and not just like, you know, to put into perspective, I think when they wrote Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, WandaVision wasn't done yet, and they were filming already Doctor Strange, and they didn't know how WandaVision finished. So like, you know, the whole character of Wanda is like in the air pretty much in Doctor Strange, because like, you know, they don't give it time to like for people to be able to write the characters the right way. And I'm just saying, like, when you have a story that is character driven, the story will more likely be good. It will be better than, you know, it'll be good and not bad, pretty much. But yeah, so we're almost at an hour, so we're gonna cut it there. Man, it was really an exposition on characters, huh? And superhero stuff. I hadn't, and see, this is okay. The podcast is an outlet for me to be able to talk about this type of stuff. Yes, but I just, like, I'm telling you, like, I haven't talked about superhero stuff in a long time. And yeah, it's been a long time. I remember I used to talk about it with my brother back home and when I was back in high school, but nowadays it's literally just like watching videos and stuff like that. And like, cause I can't really have like discussions about stuff and like, just like say all the stuff I want to say. But yeah. So, you know, once again, apologies if the episode's a day late, because it's Tuesday and it's almost 9 p.m. And I'm not going to edit the episode right now. I'll edit it tomorrow, and then it could come out on Wednesday. So if you're listening in on Wednesday, you know, drop a good job, Javi, for putting out the episode on Wednesday and staying on track. Or if I put it out on Thursday, put down in the comments and just say like, dang it, Javi, be better next time. But I'm just glad you're feeling okay. Anyway, thank you guys so much once again for all the support. And, you know, hopefully the algorithm, you know, I know I need to post consistently so that the algorithm doesn't fuck me in the ass, but we're getting there. Okay. We're getting there. I took the time off so that I could recover. Okay. So deal with me. We'll at least have a weekly episode. I promise I was going to do it, and I'll deliver. But yeah, I guess a little sneak peek. We might have a guest in one of the upcoming episodes. So it's between you and I, okay? If you made it this far, you deserve to know this. But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for everything. I appreciate the love. And if you ran the New York City Marathon, congrats. It's a big feat. I'm seeing a lot of people getting into running, and that really makes me very happy. And good job. If you want tips or anything about running, hit me up. More than likely to help you out. So more than welcome to help you out. But anyway, take care. Have a great day. Have a great week. Tell your family you love them. Tell your friends you love them. And I'll see you guys real soon. Take care. Mwah.